Hey guys, this is Nod Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I want to talk about the top 5 decks that I think should have been good or were like 1 or 2 cards short from being good. And so this is kind of like my top 5 decks I wish would come back. These are top 5 decks I wish actually could come. I wish had the ability to be in that video, kind of. But yeah, these are decks that I saw a lot of that either had hype, people saw potential in them, they were rumored to be really good, and then just didn't quite cut it. Or these are decks that never really had a time to shine, and just because like when they were released it was found just nothing. Kind of Magic Bullet syndrome, if you will. So my honorable mentions for this are Subterrors, which, as you guys know, in the OCG, Subterrors actually have a card called Subterror Guru, and that does help the deck quite a bit, making it almost a tier 2 meta contender over there, while over here it's just complete, not total trash, but it's definitely on the bottom end of our tier 3 list, probably. And my second honorable mention is Cubics, which Cubics are really just one consistency card away from being like insane, for real. Like if they, with Foolish Burial Goods and Duza now here, that deck does have a lot more consistency, and the way that you play it is quite interesting, but they really just need like one draw card and it's like done, it's game, like for real. That deck is insane. So my number 5 pick is Noble Knight. Now, Noble Knights have received tons of support. They had the original releases of them, which was like Medrau and Boars, which are like the best ones, along with Noble Knight Brothers was pretty good. Then they had the Noble Knight of the Round Table box set, which gave them Merlin, who is an insane support card for any deck. Merlin's a really good card, and he's an instant 3 of a Noble Knights. And then we released another card called Glory of the Noble Knights, which was an import from the OCG, which lets you equip a equip spell from the deck. And now we get this new 4-card wave for the TCG in Cybernetic Horizon of Noble Knights. So the real question is, how come this deck was never good? And a lot of people attribute that to being equip spell based. And I, to a degree, why I do agree with that. I think the deck is definitely a powerhouse to a degree and has its plays, especially with Isold and a lot of combos that you can do with Isold and using the Nightmares. I feel that you should be able to do something with Noble Knights, but what they're missing is something that a lot of players don't quite know, and that's probably just because they've got crap stats to a degree, along with some effects that are more general and don't help the deck super synergize with itself. But yeah, so Noble Knights for number 5. And number 4 is Vendreads, another TCG exclusive archetype, matching with my Subterror and Noble Knight thing. I think we're seeing a trend. But Vendreads were one of those decks when we got the first, I believe it was 4 cards, which was Slayer, the Ritual Spell, Hound, and Revenants. A lot of people were really excited for the deck. It seemed interesting, and we were just like, okay, well, if we get another Ritual Monster, another Ritual Spell, a trap, and like another main deck monster that can activate out of the hand, we could see this deck going somewhere. And it took us until the final wave of support to actually get another Ritual Spell and something that was okay. For the most part, the Vendread support is kind of bad. Core is pretty good, Anima is okay, Vendread Daybreak is interesting, and Evolution is a pretty good card for Vendreads, but overall this deck didn't get what it really deserved and did break a lot of players' hearts, including my own. As you guys know, I was putting up deck profiles every time I could for that deck, but sadly it just fell flat and wasn't what it was hyped up to be. A lot of people saw it as the meta deck out of the 2, that being FAs and Vendreads, but yet FA saw a lot more competitive success, even though that competitive success was very weak. So yeah, number 3 is Cybers. Now, when you're typing has gotten not only 2 starter decks now, I believe 2 structure decks, and then wave after wave after wave of support from every set of Code of the Duelist to Cybernetic Horizon, and you still don't have competitive success, and you've gotten all this support. there's something wrong there. This deck should have been good. And while Cyberse is such a wide typing and has a bunch of extra deck monsters that are exclusive to it, and and actually feature some interesting effects. I believe Power Code Talker has a really good effect, along with Firewall Dragon and Link Kribo and Link Spider, and being able to summon themselves like Bit Trooper and stuff like that. And Searching and Backup Secretary, and just this heavy wannabe Link spam deck that's almost there. Like I believe Farfa said, the deck is like one card away from being meta. And while I completely agree on that. I think if they got something that was absolutely insane, kind of like what Perform Pile Pendulum Sorcerer, if they got one of those along with like a monkey board, something like that. Like I know that's such an insane kind of like whoa. But if they got something along those lines, that deck would be absolutely busted and insane, and they'd be dropping extra links like no tomorrow. But yeah, so Cyberse, maybe it'll be good someday. We're probably just, like I said, we're probably just a few cards away from that deck like having some weird janky meta build that's like gonna creep up on the meta and everyone's gonna start playing it. So Cyberse. Number 2, I picked Red Eyes, and Red Eyes is one of those decks that is another we've received wave after wave of support. So we got the original Red Eyes card, and then we got the GX support, which was like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and Red Eyes Black Chick, which Black Dragon's Chick now, and Inferno Fire Blast, a few Red Eyes support cards. And then we got the, I believe it was like Lord of the Red, we got him, and Paladin of Dark Dragon, and then we got the Blackstone of Ancients, which is still a really good card. Blackstone of Legend is nuts. And then we also got the Gemini support along with that. And while the effects on the Gemini monsters are really good, they're Gemini monsters. And to make things worse, they're tribute summon monsters from Geminis. And while Catalyst Field definitely helps that deck, it is still a little insane that you have to that they are Geminis. That's a little dumb. And then lastly, we got the newest wave of support from Legendary Duelist, which is like Slash Dragon and the Equip stuff. So Red Eyes falls into the category of it doesn't know what it wants to be. And while the Equip strategy utilizing some of the Gemini monsters is what I see as the best strategy, I definitely think that this deck missed out on being good or rogue. We had Blue Eyes White Dragon top. We had Dark Magician seeing some rogue competitive success, but we never see anything on Red Eyes. We never see anything on Buster Blade or a Blackluster Soldier. So I guess this is kind of going out to all of those other legacy support cards based on like one monster. So hopefully Thunder Dragon doesn't fall into the same category. And number 1, we have Phantasm Spiral. Now, if you guys don't know what Phantasm Spiral is, it's a deck out of Maximum Crisis. It's only received one wave of support. It's based around one main deck normal monster, but using its field spell, it's able to search out equip spells and activate them directly from the graveyard, from your hand, and it also has a series of trap cards that are like Breakthrough Skill, a Regeki Break, and I forget what the other one does. Oh yeah, it's the last one's a win condition that no one plays. But yeah, and of course, being all normies, they can use Heat Wave, which, like, Heat Wave is insane. If you don't know what Heat Wave does, it just makes it so you can't normal or special effect monsters for an entire turn, for both players' turns, which is nuts. The deck actually did see some minor success as a rogue pick for a short amount of time before falling to the back seat because of True Draco and stuff like that. But because of that, because of the reason that it can run things like Skill Drain and some other floodgates, it did see minor success. I wish that this deck would get another card, and that's really all it needs is one more trap card. Maybe a level 4 Phantasm Spiral Dragon. That'd be nice. Something that's treated as Phantasm Spiral Dragon in the hand or in the graveyard. Something that could maybe fetch equips from the deck when it's in a trap that could banish itself and fetch equips. It really doesn't need too much, and I would love to see this deck succeed and come back, actually start doing something in the meta, because I feel that it could, if we did get a little bit of support for this, it would be really good. This is a deck that really should have been good when it came out, but because of one of the cards being just kind of this weird restrictive win condition, I feel that that's a big reason that it flopped instead of it being something else. And this deck is a deck that can use stuff like Champion's Vigilance and a whole bunch of other things. Sea Stealth Attack helped this. Rage of Kiryushin helped this. So to see this deck just kind of sit there in this weird, like the highest tier of tier 3, like borderline tier 2 deck is kind of like interesting, because I really think this deck should have been good. But yeah, tell me a deck that you guys should have thought was good in the comments below. Tell me another video that you guys want to see, and I'll see you guys in the next video.